money!
So, Henry, what kind of job we talking about here?
I gotta take a guy out. That's where you two come in. Somebody tried to take him out once before.
Go ahead, boys.
Let's just say they slightly underestimated him.
Let's get in there and take him out.
Hold on, I'm gonna need some serious firepower first.
I don't know what the hell you're hunting, but unless it's in a fucking tank, sayonara, baby.
First interview here at Gamescom at 2K Games. We've managed to catch 2K Czech, who's finally, after a long time, bringing out Mafia II. What took so long?
Well, we spent a long time polishing the game recently. Like the last couple of years have been a lot of gameplay tweaking, a lot of balancing, a lot of things like this. Also, a lot of the time that's been since Mafia 1 has been producing a new engine. So like making a new engine for next gen, making sure we could ship a game that was on quality of parity from a tech perspective on PC and on console. So.
But how's it been? You've been working on it for so long. Has it been any time that you've thought, oh, screw this, let's just make another game?
No, I think we've always had the goal of taking what was great about the original Mafia game and taking it to the next level. I think in the studio there's a lot of interest and a lot of fascination with the subject matter and the kind of realization of this mobster movie kind of story has always kind of kept everybody kind of keen on the vision and everything like that. So enthusiasm's remained high.
Well, the low moments of the development, they are coming every time, but it's the ability of the team to finish the project, and this is why we kept on doing it, and that's why we finished it.
When it came to the subject matter, as you mentioned, how much research did you spend on researching the real mob, so to speak?
Oh, in the early stages of the project, I mean, when the story was being created, I mean, a hell of a lot of time and effort went into this kind of stuff. I mean, we're not talking about real life historical events, like real, mob characters or things like this. But the storylines that are in the game are roughly based around, instances and characters from history. So a lot of research went into 1940s and 1950s mob activity, what was happening at that time in the sort of the post-war period. The game starts in 1945, so there's kind of the mob in the war as a kind of a theme. Then we move into the 1950s and it becomes more of mob as big business, syndication of organized crime as a subject matter. So these kind of things, but then also there's a lot of period research. In addition to the mob theme, there's obviously the period setting, which is another sort of big thing about Mafia 2. So the period research, the style, the fashion, the advertising, the cars, the music, and all of this kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many mad months went into this, but a significant amount of time.
So to quote some exact numbers, for example, first 3 years, we just been working on the story itself. So research into the history, research into these topics, watching a lot of films, reading books. Then we sent a bunch of artists to America, for several months, to just go around, make photos. A lot of guys were doing just research from the books. So incredible, I would say, amount of research in terms of game development, I would say.
But looking also, since the first Mafia was released, and now when we're recording this, the first couple of reviews have started to pop up. For example, Swedish Game Reactor and the Game Reactor magazines in general gave it a 9 out of 10. But how do you keep we've had so many open world or crime stories well, of course in GTA and so on. How did you manage to keep it updated, considering how long time you spent on the game?
So the most important thing for us was the narrative, the experience, the atmosphere, the immersion of the player into the world. So for us it wasn't the sandbox element in the game, it was always the story and the feeling of player being there. So this was our goal from the very beginning, and we keep working on this, and this is what we get on the end. So that's why some people love the game, some people who are expecting something else, so they are not so enthusiastic about the result, but this is what we had on mind in the beginning, and this is what we get on the end.
I think that the core difference between Mafia and other kind of open world crime games is as Jarek pointed out, is the focus on the storyline. This has been we've tried to make every sort of feature in the game make it relevant for this. If you imagine the open world, the kind of the sandbox elements of the game, the features and things you can find in the city in the open world are all there to make the make the whole kind of context feel realistic. You know, like I think that we have more than other open world titles, maybe a more focus on plausibility, believability in the game world, for the reason of we have this mature storyline, we have a believable kind of dramatic, flow of the narrative, very sort of plausible characters and things like this.
Anything during development that stands out at either as a high point or a low point when you felt, or what just a memorable moment during these, 5-6 years you've been working on this?
I think that the highest point for me has been when we wrapped the title. Like it was when we knew that the game was finished and we had our relative approvals and things like this for the game to go gold. That was great. Obviously there was a lot of celebration internally and things like this. Everyone was very happy. In terms of low points, I'm not entirely sure. There's always those times, particularly when you're coming towards the end of the development, where there's long hours and you're spending a lot of time in the office, and sometimes things go wrong and you're a bit kind of dejected. But I think the kind of the idea that we were coming towards the end of the tunnel at this point, after 6 or 7 years, when you know that you're a few months away from release, that's always enough to kind of raise your spirits a little bit.
Well, for me, the high point was definitely when we started to see the gameplay in the game. So from the beginning, the game looked awesome. So it was evident that the quality of the art is very nice. But when we see these nice graphics, to really be part of the gameplay, it was a very high moment for me. To see the pedestrians, the actions, the enemies, everything. So this was really nice, milestone for us when we really started to feel that yes, we are going the right way. The game is shaping up, and this is great.
So Mafia 3 in 2020.
Right now we're working on DLC. So we have some DLC in the works. We're starting to think about what next projects, but we've got nothing to talk about on this topic. The demo's out there. The demo's out on Xbox Live, PSN, and Steam. So anybody who's interested in checking the game out and seeing whether it's as good as it sounds, well, we're pretty confident that the demo's going to convince them it's going to be worth their time.
See what he did there. Nice one. You got that in there as well.
Well, we're confident that the demo's convincing. So.
But the game is much more awesome, so check the game.